guacamole that. What is going on around here? Why am I getting feedback? Somewhere I'm getting feedback. There it is. Son of a bitch. Sorry, people. Sorry about that.
I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I've set a course for sights unseen, went out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship, and all you gotta do is join our trip. There isn't any cost of membership. All the sailors here are really hip. I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard our trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it up on the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship.
Hurry up. Duska only lasts so long. And there we go. On the third blink of her eyes, it's all over. Good evening, my friends. How are you doing out there? It's your brother Zoe, an hour late. If you remember in the good old days, I actually used to go from 7 to 9 Pacific. And then when Craig Mason opted to bow out of the 6 to 7 area, I thought, I ought to dive in there because Frank ends and I can just dive on in after him. But I much prefer to go at 6. I do. I'm doing 2 jobs right now, as I've mentioned numerous times, and it is kicking my butt. It's just kicking my butt. Let's get a look at the people here. I'm torn right now. Wait till I tell you what has just happened to me. Let's see. Okay, we are live. Definitely live at Pilled Foxhole. It's a beautiful thing. It's time for the... Oh, no. Really? My air conditioner's unplugged, and I simply must have it. You're going to have to give me half a second. Half a second, people. I must have it. You know what's kind of crazy is I'm always bitching about this garage. It's either freezing butt-ass cold, or it's sweltering, right? It just seems like, what happened to spring? What happened to spring? There used to be this like little qualm in between winter and summer. It is warm in this garage. It's warm. Now, it's not dying to death warm, but it's, warmer than. Perhaps I should take off my leather vest. Maybe that would do something. But nonetheless, here we are. We are definitely live at Pilled Foxhole, which is a beautiful thing. We are also live over at YouTube. YouTube, who let me down today. Over here at Rumble. Yes, we are rumbling. We are rumbling. Yes, we are. And there's people rumbling over there, so that's a wonderful thing. Good, nice to have you there, whoever you are. Over here in Twitch land, we have people twitching that itch. That's a beautiful thing. Welcome aboard, sailors. And last but not least, our current reigning champions. Reigning champion supreme. Yes, I am talking about D-Live. D-Live. Willie says he's got like 6 layers on. It's 28 this morning. It's very spring showery there. Wow. It is, what the hell is it today? What the hell is it today? It's currently 63, but that means inside of this garage, it's warm. It's warm. Not warm leatherette, but it's warm. Okay, let's say our hellos. Let's say our good old hellos over at D-Live, since we're already there, the home of the champions. TL Spud is with us. Willie Fix-It in the house. Good to see both of you gentlemen. I hope you're doing wonderfully. Good to have you aboard. Bad Zoot is in the house. Hello, Kate. Hope everything is good in your world. Very nice. I think by showing up an hour late, perhaps I threw a lot of people off of the... there's Lynn Winters. I probably threw a lot of people off the trail by starting an hour late. What could I do? It's killing me. It's killing me, baby. It's just freaking killing me. So, well, all right. Back over to Rumble, where I'm seeing the numbers are adding up, and over to YouTube, where bodies are floating in. Andrew Schroeder, good to see you. Hope everything's good. Just take your pants off, bro. That's what Abe says. Might be the easiest thing to do. Oh, did you hear that slurp? I loathe slurping. Rather I do. Over here at Pilled Foxhole, the usual cast of characters, a great bunch of wonderful people hanging out on the mystery ship deck. They are swabbing the deck as we speak. Willie's out on the poop deck. Girl Patriot in the house. Bruce Q. Wayne is with us. Good to see you. My brother Double D in the house. CDP 4JC. Nice to have you in the audience tonight. Crazy Chuck with a K is here. How are you doing, my friend? Maddie's mom in the house. The Owl Flash. Yes, indeed, the Owl Flash. Prairie Fire in the house. Beautiful people. Wonderful people. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, before I left work today, last week, it was Monday. Monday morning, I shot a short video for you guys. It wasn't anything dramatic, but it was just a short little video, and I never had the chance to upload it because I envisioned adding a second part to it. I did. And I did that tonight at work. Literally, when I signed in at Pilled Foxhole and I posted my show for 7 instead of 6, a full hour later, I said, okay, I've got 50 minutes. That gives me enough time to drive home, gives me enough time to drive through Chick-fil-A, and I have just enough time to edit this piece and put it on because there was only 2 edits. So I shot a little tail end of it. I edited the piece. I uploaded it to YouTube. And I was going to play it for you because it had a great deal to do with tonight's topic. I was a little disappointed to find when I got home and I went to pull up my video. And this is what I found. This is what I found right here. So, I was dismayed. I was dismayed. Dismayed in the shade. Because the video, honestly, was all about me. I did not. Val Kimber, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. I didn't dox anybody. I mean, it was all about me. The entire video was about me. And so I'm just going to share it with you now, since YouTube has taken away my opportunity to do this with you. It was the entire premise of tonight's show. I was just sitting. So my driver's license expired last Thursday on my birthday. In the state of Oregon, a driver's license is good for 8 years. 8 years. Kind of a bonus. I mean, that's kind of nice. I think in California they were good for 3. Of course, in California, they're just trying to get revenue, right? If they can get you back for a license every other year, they're going to do it. I was astounded when I moved to Oregon to find out that, I'll never forget this. It was 1989, and I had moved up from California. Well, in California, if you drive anything fancy, new, nice, or expensive, let's say you've got a Lamborghini Countach, or perhaps you're Arnold Schwarzenegger with your, your Hummer. Arnold, back in the 80s, when you couldn't buy a Hummer, Arnold got a Hummer from the Army, the U.S. Army, and cityfied it. And he used to drive down my street because he owned the Gold's Gym there in Venice. And every day at 3 o'clock, he would drive down my street on his way to the gym. He must have been a fanatic. It was pretty funny to see him in a big old freaking Hummer. After that, they realized that the public had an appetite for those Hummers, and they started mass producing them for the public. But Arnold had one before anybody could have one. Only the Army had them. How did I get on this topic? Anyway, my driver's license. Yes, in California, they will give you a license every 3 years because revenue. That's what they want. In Oregon, when I first registered my very first car, which was a 1951 Chevrolet pickup, the woman says, that'll be $20. And I said, $20 a year? And she says, oh, no. That's good for 2 years. I'm like, what? $20 to register my car? I said, is that because of how old it is? And she goes, no, any car, if you want to put tags on it, it's $20. And good for 2 years. I was astounded because in California we had to pay every single year. And if you had an old clunker, you might get away under $100, $100 or less. I remember my last vehicle in California, my last clunker, was a Dodge Aspen. Does anybody remember what a Dodge Aspen looks like? I'll show you. let me just show you. I have to relive this. It's been so long. Somewhere I have a picture of this car. Yep, there it is. Okay, let me get a good picture here. That's one. That almost looks exactly like my car did. This was my vehicle. Stop with that. Here we go. This is what your brother Zoe had just before I bought my 51 Chevy pickup. Just before I moved from California to Oregon, this is what I owned, a 1978 Dodge Aspen. There it is. Now, in California, these cars were very popular with law enforcement. Sheriffs drove them, Border Patrol drove them, certain factors of the Sheriff's, Border Patrol, who else? The L.A. cops, they drove ambassadors. But this Dodge Aspen, so the car that I got was a former Border Patrol car. It at one time, its front and back fenders were painted black, and you could see the remnants of an emblem on the side of the car. But the reason I bought that car, is it looks like a little old man's car. Okay, doesn't it? And at the time, I lost my driver's license, so I could not afford to get pulled over. Therefore, I couldn't afford a flashy red car. I couldn't afford, not that I couldn't physically afford it. I could have afforded it, dollar-wise. But no, I couldn't be seen driving in like something red or flashy or something that called attention to himself. I needed to blend into the background, because for 3 years in California, I drove without a license, and the reason was never had a DUI in my life, never had anything. I had another vehicle. I can't even remember what it was. I had another vehicle, and I had too many cars. I had like 5-6 cars. I was selling this car, selling it. I put it in the Recycler, which is a little grab bag newspaper in the Los Angeles area. If you want to sell something, anything, you put it in the Recycler. All you have to do is call this message, leave a detailed description, and they will put it in free for nothing. Doesn't cost you a nickel. The Recycler used to be a great magazine. That's also how a lot of people found their band members in rock and roll bands. The Recycler. Metallica got together through Recycler, believe it or not, in Los Angeles. So I can't remember what car I had, but I put it in the Recycler, and a guy said it was cheap. I only wanted like $600 for it. He said, dude, drive it over to me. I have the cash. I'll give you the money, and I'll give you a ride back to your other car. And I said, fantastic. I am on the way to the guy's house. I'm going down Pico Boulevard, and I'm going through an intersection. The light is as green as the grass. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. It's late in the afternoon, about 4 p.m., and out of nowhere, as I'm going through this intersection, wham! I get broadsided by a lady who ran the red light to the left of me. She ran the red light and just T-boned me right into the side of my driver's door. And, I mean, it really took me by surprise. And I get out and I start laughing. And I start laughing at just the ridiculousness of the situation. Here, I finally find somebody who's going to buy this piece of shit, and he says, bring it over to me, and I'll pay you the money. And I thought, this is great. I'll have a little $600 windfall. I get rid of I've got too many cars. Where I live in Venice, I'm constantly having to move them and shift them and change them so I don't get parking tickets. It was going to be the answer to all these prayers, but this woman barrels into me. I get out of the car, and I start laughing. And she goes, and a cop shows up. And he goes, are you high? And I looked at him. I said, no, I'm stone sober, man. I just got off of work. Why are you laughing? I said, dude, I was on my way to sell this car. 3 blocks from here is a guy waiting to buy this car, and this woman just totaled it because she ran a red light. Now, the truth is, the woman was 100% at fault, and her insurance company did pay me actually more for my car than I was going to get. So in the long run, it worked out to my favor. But in the short run, because I had 4 cars, I only kept my daily driver insured. I mean, why would I insure 3 other vehicles that I never, ever, ever drive? So at the time that I drove this vehicle, that quarter mile across town, I was uninsured. And because I was uninsured, they took my driver's license away from me. Yes, they took it away. So for the next 3 years, I'm not kidding you, that's why I drove this Dodge Aspen. I didn't want people to look at me. I wanted people to think I was a 90-year-old man. I tinted the windows nice and black so you couldn't see in, and I drove the speed limit or lower. I never speeded. All my lights worked. All my blinkers worked. Even my license plate light was there. I made sure there was no reason for a policeman to pull me over, because every time a cop got behind me and I know I'm driving without a license, your heart is just going, because I get pulled over, I'm going to jail, baby. I'm going to jail. Pretty damn. I didn't need the adrenaline rush. I really didn't. I was 28, 29, and I didn't need that shit. So I moved to Oregon, and I had to wait it out. I thought that since I moved to Oregon, here I'm starting over fresh in a new state. I showed up to the DMV all fresh and shiny. I brought my birth certificate, bought a piece of mail. I said, hi, I'd like to apply for a driver's license. And they punched me in the system. And of course, Oregon talks to California, and they said, oh, no, sir, we can't give you a license. Your license is still expired for 2 more years in California. Come back in 2 years and we'll give you a license. And again, for 2 more freaking years. Thank God, Oregon is nothing like Los Angeles. It's nothing but ditches and 2-lane roads. And there was no chance in hell of me getting pulled over. And I eventually did get my license, and I was tickled pink. Crazy shit. I go here on Monday to apply for my license, and I figure, okay, while I'm at it, they got this new thing. It's called Real ID. Real ID. And there's signs, giant signs, all over the DMV. If you plan on flying, if you plan on visiting Mexico or Canada, you must have, by May 7th, you must have a Real ID. A regular old driver's license isn't going to cut it anymore. I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'll get this Real ID. And I had to, Mrs. Zoe and I had to dig for my birth certificate. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen it in years. She found it. She freaking found it, that incredible woman. It was nice to be reunited with a piece of paper that proves that I exist. But I shot this little video. All about it. It was me waiting at the DMV, explaining my thoughts about the situation and how I was looking in anticipation of getting this Real ID. That way, this summer when I go around, if I want to go up into Canada, all I do is show this Real ID. I'm good. I finished editing this video and I put it up, and then YouTube shuts it down, saying that I broke their doxing laws. The only person I would have doxed would have been myself. And I don't know if it's a strike against me or not. I've never had a strike on this channel. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Never had a strike on YouTube. So I'm hoping I can argue the case and win this. But at no point did I actually take it. Although I showed my old expired driver's license, at no point did I hold it up to the screen where you could actually read the letters on it. I didn't do that. I don't know why. Maybe it's something I said. I read the vital statistics off of my birth certificate. Maybe that was it, but what the hell? Who am I doxing except myself? I never mentioned a name or address. I'm really surprised. Really kind of surprised at this. That was going to be like the whole premise of the video, and I'll tell you more about it. We're going to do what I always do. We're going to do a little break, and then we'll come back, and we'll finish this topic, because it's kind of interesting what I came up with, and a little freaky, to be perfectly honest with you. Just a little bit freaky, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. But we're going to do it on the other side of this little video. So this is your opportunity to go refill your drink, go take a leak, go take the dog outside, whatever it is you got to do, that voodoo that you do. Now is your chance. You've got like 2 minutes, and it's like 2 minutes and 48 seconds to get her done, son. Get her done, son. I'll see you on the other side of this wonderful video of beautiful, beautiful people. Thank you for being here. Yeah, those damn Nazis. This used to be a free country, remember that? Somebody was making a rather poignant effort the other night, saying how the state of New York, they just refuse to get it. Kathy Hochul was passing legislation. She passed legislature that has instituted a company that will now track credit card purchases of ammunition in the state of New York. And she didn't say it, but I'm sure they're going to report their findings back to the state of New York, so they will know if someone seems to be buying large amounts of ammunition, which is completely legal. It is absolutely legal to purchase ammunition in the United States of America. I don't know if you guys checked on that lately, but it still is legal to do so. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So the guy likened the Second Amendment to the First Amendment. He said, they're imposing all these laws. You have to, if you want to go buy a new firearm for yourself, you have to do background checks. And then if you want to have a concealed carry, you have to attend a class, and then you have to carry a card around. And now New York is, of course, tracking your ammo sales and all of these things. He says, what is so difficult to understand about the right to bear arms shall not be infringed? He goes, can you imagine if they imposed those same laws on the First Amendment, where you're in a gathering of people, you're at a baseball game, and you want to stand up and you want to say, the Braves suck, go Yankees! But no, first you have to apply for a permit so that you can speak freely at an event. I mean, it's that kind of ridiculousness. Our freedoms. My dad, boy, one thing that guy beat into me. He beat this into me. He said, Albert, never vote for anything that takes away your freedoms. And man, I've never forgot that. Never forgot those words. He was so freaking right. And that was 40 years ago. The reason I bring up my dad is in 1996, my father passed away. I was 37 years old. Yes, I had just turned 37. And he passed away at the age of 66. At 51 years old, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And he underwent treatments and all that kind of thing. And the good old doctors told my dad, well, this is very difficult news to broach, but we just have to be upfront with you, Mr. Sella. You at the long set, you probably got 2 good years left, so you might seriously consider getting your affairs in order. And my dad stood up and he looked at the doctor and he shook his hand and he said, thank you for your diagnosis, doctor, but no one, absolutely no one, is going to put a time frame on my life and tell me how much longer I'm going to be around. He was 51, mind you, and they gave him 2 years to live. He lived until he was 66. Now, his problem was a little thing called Pall Mall cigarettes. 2 packs a day. In looking at almost every single photograph of my father I have ever seen, he has got a cigarette in his hand or in his mouth. It's uncanny. My brother and I were joking about it. I said, Pop, have you ever found a picture of Dad where he didn't have a cigarette in his hand? And he's like, I don't think so. So, he was diagnosed with 2 different types of cancers, but cancer is not what got him. No, No, in the end, it was good old emphysema. Emphysema is what took him out. And he passed away at 66. His brother before him passed away at 65. His older sister passed away at late 50s. I want to say 59, 60. His younger sister passed away at 60, 67, 66, 67. And his youngest brother, youngest brother, I think made it to 68. But no one bearing the last name Cella, a little Italian name from northern Italy, Cella, no one has broken the 70 barrier yet. I just turned 66. So I'm sitting in the parking lot of the DMV, and this is when I fired up my camera and recorded my video. Because it hit me. I was sitting there, I had about another 5 minutes to wait before my appointment came up. And I was thinking about the whole thing, you know, this real ID that I got to get and all this crap. And I thought about the fact that an Oregon license is good for 8 years. 8 years. I quickly did the math and I said, so when this license expires, I will be 74 years old. If I make it to 74, as no living Cella has ever done before, I mean, it would be extraordinary. And people, make no mistake about it. I'm going for 90, okay? Make no freaking mistake. I'm going for 90. But, if history has a way of repeating itself, you know, the chances they're not excessively in my favor. Would you say that? So I thought that. I sat there for a second, and I said to the camera, you know, it's kind of strange to think about it, but if I follow suit like the rest of my family, this is going to be my last driver's license. And I said it tongue-in-cheek as a bit of humor. You know, I have every intention of breaking every Cella record that is out there with longevity. But it was kind of a strange moment to sit there and think for a second that this could potentially be the very last driver's license I ever apply for in my life. So I chuckled about it. And then when I uploaded it to YouTube today, because of the fact that I waived my license, and I guess I mentioned my age, and I read off something from my birth certificate from the, I don't know what the hell it's called, the Office of Registrar of Live Birth, whatever the fuck it is, from East Orange, New Jersey. It was amazing to see my birth certificate again. I hadn't seen it in forever. I was a little torqued. That YouTube would choose to pull down my video. Because, honestly, I thought it was tongue-in-cheek. I kind of thought it was a little bit humorous. Oh, my goodness. Oh, no. Well, that freaked me out. Somehow my YouTube playback was delayed. And a couple of minutes ago when I showed that this video has been taken down for bullying, that just appeared on my YouTube screen. And I thought, oh, my God, they just did it to me again. They yanked my live show. Do you guys remember the Quite Frankly shows back in 2018, 2019, when Frank would be right in the middle of talking and all of a sudden the screen would just go black? Someone at YouTube, that's way before AI. That's when a human being just walked over and pulled the plug and said, no, he's done for tonight. We've heard enough of that topic. It was, oh man, he used to get so steamed. He used to get so freaking steamed. Somewhere peripherally, I'm seeing giant lettering over here, so I know it must be something important. Let me see what it says. Oh, it's Lynn Winters saying, so, Stop smoking for real, Zoe. You'll expire before it does. Yes, I could expire before it does. I hope not. I hope not, Bad Zoot. I'm going to give that son of a bitch a run for its money. I promise you. I have no intentions of giving up this fight. Holy smokes, Val Kimber. Thank you kindly, brother. That's mighty kind of you to dive on in with a diamond. Thank you so very much. So kindly. So kind of you. Have any of the rest of you ever thought about, I got to be completely honest with you. This is not something I ever even think about. My own mortality. I just don't think about it. It is the furthest thing from my mind. In fact, the very fact that I brought it up in that video that YouTube didn't allow me to play, and I said it was tongue in cheek, I looked at the camera and I kind of smirked and I said, this could be my last driver's license, kind of chuckling to myself. But for a brief second, just a brief second when it hit me, and that's what made me want to record the videos, is when I came to the realization that could indeed be my very last driver's license. I immediately brushed it off. But at the same time, the same token, what if it is? I've never really thought. I've never really given much thought. I haven't put a lot of thought into how long am I going to live, realistically. You've heard, everyone knows this expression. This expression is older than God himself. Well, if I'd have known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken way better care of myself. That was probably, Milton Berle probably stole that from Henny Youngman. I have no idea. But it nonetheless is somewhat true. I'm sure every one of us wish, as we start to get older, that in some way, shape, or form we had made better decisions and not done such stupid things as to wear our bodies out. I've had a lifetime of everything from skiing accidents to being run over by cars. I fell from a crane. I almost got drowned once going on a river rafting adventure. Other close calls. I've had a number of close calls, but I've never actually stopped. Oh, one of the biggest ones ever. I was in Los Angeles. I was on my motorcycle. I was in the fast lane, and it was one of those days when we're all cooking along at about 55. Not a wide open freeway by any stretch of the imagination, but at least moving along nicely. A nice clip of about 55. I'm in the fast lane I had a Honda back then, a Honda 500, and we're zipping along, and then all of a sudden I can see in front of me. Because I'm on a motorcycle, I'm elevated. I can see above the cars, and I can see way ahead of me that all of a sudden there's a shitload of red lights coming on, and I can see red light, blink, 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 and it's coming closer and closer and closer, and I see traffic is coming to a complete dead stop in front of me. So I slow down, and I get ready to come to a complete stop, and I did come to a complete stop, and I had about 3 seconds, and I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna peel around this guy and go in the emergency lane where you're not supposed to drive, and I'm just gonna pass all of these semi-parked cars as they wait in this line, and then the next time the cars open up, I'll just dive in, and I'll be 100 cars ahead of where I'm at. So I sat there thinking about doing that little motion. I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times in California. I sat there in the fast lane for about a second and a half thinking, do it or don't do it. Do it or don't do it. And then, I got the angel on this side saying, don't do it, Al. I got the devil on this side saying, fucking do it, man. Just dive in that emergency lane and pass all these cars and just don't run over the broken pieces of, reflectors and broken glass from all the millions of accidents. Finally, the devil won, and I decided I'm doing it. So everything I just told you happened in a matter of like 3 seconds. From the time I stopped, it's like, do it or don't do it. Okay, I'm doing it. And I decide to go. And do you know, the very second, I'm waiting here behind this parked car, the very second that I pulled out around him and went into the emergency lane, the big concrete wall is right here, the guy behind me never stopped. And he hit that car that was in front of me at about 60 miles an hour and just, boom, pancaked him. If the devil hadn't won and convinced me to get into that emergency lane, I would be flat man and ribbon right now. I would be about as thick as this piece of paper right now. So there is another time I cheated death. That would have been, oh my God, that would have been, yeah. I wouldn't have made that one. So I've had a number of close calls and a number of times where, for one reason or another, the old Zoe just keeps popping out on the other side. Here I am, back for more. And that's what I kind of was curious about. I can't be the only one who has overcome cheated death. I mean, I've cheated death 4 times now. 4 times. And I'm going to continue to cheat death. Don't make no mistake. But has anything like that ever happened to you guys? Have you ever been in a situation where, if not for the grace of God, or if a certain turn of events hadn't taken place, you would have been in the wrong place at the right time? Has that happened to any of you guys? Because I want to fucking know. I can't be the only one who has, for whatever reason, made it when I shouldn't have. I'm going to put my ever-loving number on the screen. Yep. There it is. There it is now. There it is now. And I'm serious. This is big time. This is a big time call-in. I want you guys to ring my bell, because have any of you cheated death in a way that when you thought about it later, you said to yourself, son of a gun. I could have been a goner. I shared one other time with you. If you have a story like that, please, the number's on the screen. I want to hear from you. Call on in. Here we go. Something tells me, oh, good. It's my friend Floyd. How are we doing, brother? What is going on with you?
Oh, not too much. Just enjoying the show tonight.
All right.
Let me pull that down. But, yeah, I do have one. And it was also when I was riding a motorcycle.
Lay it on me, baby. I'm good for the motorcycle ones.
Well, it was also a good thing that I always carried in a drop leg holster my Springfield Armory 357 SIG.
Mm-hmm.
This particular day, I left my reserve unit. Granted, I'm not going to tell everybody where I kept the gun, because obviously on a military installation, you're not allowed to have private firearms.
Ah, well.
But I did.
You bad boy.
Oh, yeah. I still have the picture of me the very same day with that drop leg holster and that 357 SIG sitting on my right leg.
So
Notice, right?
what?
I'm cruising home, going northbound on 405. I'm doing 65 miles an hour, and I get this Mercedes-Benz with these Egyptian-looking guys less than a foot away from my rear tire.
Oh man!
I'm punching the gas. All of a sudden, I'm doing 90 miles an hour, and these guys are still right there.
I hate that. Yeah.
Here's the funniest part. I popped the freaking button without them seeing it on the strap to keep it in the holster.
Yeah.
I pulled the clutch in, pulled the gun, pointed at his hood. Yeah, and I'm still doing 90 miles an hour, slowing down about 85. And all I hear is this loud crunch because I was just paying attention to what was in front of me.
Right.
Quick glances to the rear. Last thing I saw was that guy's brakes were smoking, tires were smoking. I don't know what the hell happened. All I did was just holstered the gun immediately, re-snapped the clasp, keep it in the holster,
got the hell out of
the clutch, and punched it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's just, especially riding motorcycles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When somebody's doing something stupid, and you don't play games. You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And that was one of those, well, aside from Iraq a few times, but
You're right.
that was one of the most near-death experiences I ever got. And that was what, maybe 10 years ago?
I was going to say, because by today's standards, road rage is it's out of control. But I was going to proffer that probably at the time you did that was such a rare and unique experience. Those guys, that was the last thing in the world those guys were ever expecting to see.
Yeah, oh yeah. And people don't realize it's like some motorcyclists. We're not playing around.
Yeah, dude.
We're always taught to keep our heads on a swivel, right? Because
absolutely,
we don't have anything.
No. The wisest words I ever got from an older motorcyclist, the guy was 30, 40 years older than me, and he told me he had never been in an accident, he had never laid his bike down, and I said, "What's your secret?" He goes, "I pretend that I'm invisible." He goes, "Even if I'm making eye contact with the people next to me, the people in front of me in the rearview mirror, I pretend that they can't see me, and I always leave myself an escape route." And you know what, man? Floyd, I have followed that guy's advice, and I've never laid a bike down. I've never gotten close to being, but I'll tell you what, man, that time I stopped suddenly, and then the devil said, "Oh, go ahead, jump in that fast lane, just pass all these people." Totally illegal move, but it saved my life. Dude. Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Oh no, I don't think it was the devil that was speaking to you. I think it was the actual angel.
It must have been.
Because there was another instance. This was like a week later. I'm in a situation on, again, 405 northbound.
Mm-hmm. Dangerous ass freeway right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at 6 different points of escape. I have one guy in the carpool lane getting ready to merge right where I'm at. I saw another guy in front of me hitting his brakes. The 2 guys next to me in the left lane, or the slow lane, one was hitting the brakes, one was speeding up, and then the guy behind me was speeding up. And I only had this one gap to go into the carpool lane. I couldn't even drop there was no time to drop a gear to get more speed out of it. And remember, I was at that particular point in time, I was riding a Ducati Monster 696.
Yeah.
I never knew that type of bike had that much freaking torque.
Those freaking Italian bikes, yeah, man.
Oh yeah, the funny part is with the Ducatis, those are the only ergonomical bikes that I can actually ride to where it doesn't aggravate my back injury I got in the Marine Corps.
Mm.
But oh my gosh, all I did and last thing I saw was all those cars stopping in front of me,
Yeah.
and that one tiny little gap just to my left to get into the carpool lane.
There
I
you
hit
went.
it, and by the time I looked down at the speedometer, I was already doing 110. I was like, holy crap, I just made it out of there, and I'm in fourth gear.
I'm damn glad you're here to tell the story, my brother. That is awesome. That is awesome. I shudder to think that when you probably didn't even look. You probably just waved that thing in his general direction, right? And all you heard behind you was, him slamming on the brakes, and he probably lost control from, having to hit the brakes so quickly. And who knows, maybe he hit the center wall or something. But
no, I knew exactly where I was aiming because as soon as I pulled it out, I looked back behind me.
Oh, you
knew
did.
it was in front of me, and then put my finger on the trigger, and he saw that, and he was like, "Oh shit!"
Sorry. I shouldn't be laughing, but I'm sorry. That's turnabout is fair play. If you're 2 feet off my freaking rear tire, man, you're going to get something. Something's going to happen. Yeah, my brother. Thank you for the call.
Part was this. Oh, you're welcome.
I
But the funniest
love
part
it.
is this.
I love it,
Egyptian
man.
guys, the Egyptian guys, they were driving a Mercedes-Benz, the top-of-the-line Mercedes-Benz at that time.
Sure.
Oops.
Love you, my brother.
Too bad. Love you.
I'll
Take
wrap
care.
at you soon. Thanks for the call. All right.
You're welcome.
All right. Sounds like somebody else is ringing the bell. I heard a lip. There it comes. Here it comes, baby. Incoming. Willie boy. Oh, this ought to be a beauty. Willie boy, it's been a minute since you called into the mystery ship. What are you doing?
What do you say, Chad?
What's-
What are we talking? Near dead, near crash?
Yes.
Well, which one? How many times? I mean, which one you want me to say first? The youngest one when you almost died and killed everybody with everybody? All right.
The most recent one. The most recent one where
we
you.
were going fishing.
Yeah.
We were going fishing. I was like 16, right? And I had a car because I was already, worked because I was 15, had a car and a license, and we were going on vacation. The biker, it was a biker crash. Right? Well, no crash at all, but it was pretty cool because I had the, what the hell you call it? 1973 Plymouth Valiant stand tree on the tree, 225 in a motor with the, we
straight
had the
six.
track and everything, right? But we got to pull over, right? The guy says, "We got to take this exit, right?" This is before GPS, right?
Sure.
Turn here, right? I turn, right? Well, the motorcycle in front of me, he slowed down way hard for the other person that was way in front of him.
Right.
So I had to go like sideways, like right and left 6 times with a canoe on the roof and 3 guys in a car. and it was scary. There was something else, I forget what it was, probably a squirrel or something. But that was the first craziest almost death thing, right?
I mean,
But the really death thing, the last one, we were going down, fuck that one. That was just when we were kids, when we were young, right? Then now, fast forward timeline, right? 58 years old, right?
yeah, I'm
Driving my wife's Jeep, like your Jeep, except your Jeep is a Cherokee and mine's a Grand Cherokee, so it's a little different. That's why we were having mechanic problems talking about it. However, right? I'm going on a fucking road, right? And it's ice and it's snow and it's bullshit, right? And I see the 18-wheeler in front of me, right? And all of a sudden he jumps over into the, whatever it's called, breakdown lane.
okay.
And I see in front of me a car smashed to pieces right in front of me.
Oh man.
I got me, the wife, and the dogs. We're going down to my in-laws, her cousin, whatever. It was a funeral kind of thing where we're going to, right? And I slam, I see what I see, right? And I fucking just blast the gas, right? And I do a right and a left and a big fucking snake around. 100-car crash behind us. Whatever.
Oh, man.
This car was in front of us, all fucked up. It's snow, ice, everything. It was crazy. That was the craziest
Yeah.
Like you say, life in front of your eyes.
Dude,
When you're driving in a car, and there's a car in front of you, right? And you're on the highway. And
I
I'm
am-
passing an 18-wheeler, okay? And there's a car in front of me, right sideways, right in front of you. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I had to, I had cranked the wheel and I just hit the gas and hit the gas and cranked the wheel, and got away from it. Otherwise, it would have been just dead
Right.
on.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that was one of and then the other time, went skiing and the other things. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
how many? You got me by 6 years, son of a bitch. I got how many more death ones you got than me? I'm not even talking about one that broke my neck.
Yeah, but I am talking about that kind. I'm talking about that kind of experience where, the minute it's over, the minute it happens, you get this shiver up and down your spine because you think to yourself,
man.
"Oh my God, if I hadn't have just moved to the left, that car would have pancaked me and I would be this." I mean, dude, I'm not kidding you. When I heard
Dude,
that,
I got hit by.
Oh, my God.
You
It is.
fell off a crane, right? I've
Yeah.
been hit by cars 3 times. And I jump up on them.
we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to keep.
Yeah, because I've never been run over yet.
Willie, let's.
Well, I mean, the first time was a little run over, but however, whatever. But fuck yeah, I made it to 60, and I'm trying to catch up to you, dude. Slow down a little
You'll
bit.
never catch me.
Really?
I got-
I'm trying, man.
I got more
I'm
people ringing my
trying.
bell, my man. I appreciate your
I
call,
know,
buddy.
It's time for another one.
Love you.
But there's some more death ones I got, but yeah.
Keep them coming, baby.
I
Keep them
save
coming.
lots of people with car wrecks all the time. I never hurt anybody in a car when we ever crashed. Never, ever hurt anybody in a car with avoiding accidents. I pride myself on that. All right.
We'll see
have
you.
a good night.
Thanks for the call.
Later on. I love you, man.
Willie Fix It right there. The one, the only Willie Fix It. I'm telling you. Yeah, I mean, here's one now. Here's a call now. It is from the 619 area code. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the mystery ship. Who do we have in the 619 area code?
Mountain Dog Boy.
Mountain Dog Boy. How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
Awesome, man. You got one of those experiences that just turned your hair white, gave you a couple of gray hairs too early?
Yeah, actually, I've spent more cat lives than I'm lucky to still be alive, actually. And I don't tell this story much because I'm kind of ashamed by it, but when I was a police officer, I was a canine handler, and the dog I had, he and I were playing one night, and I grabbed the toy from him with my face next to his, and he bit me in the neck. And it was, from the doctor's standpoint, less than a quarter of an inch from my...
Oh, the main artery that would bleed you out in seconds. Yeah. Oh,
And it was a 4-inch gash, but it turned out the problem was that he had a brain tumor.
the dog did?
And yeah, and I believe that if he didn't have that brain tumor, that never would have happened. It skewed his judgment.
Yeah, he short circuited in some way. I mean, you're his handler, his protector, his brother
Right.
in arms, and all of a sudden the dog turns on you of all people.
So I called some friends. I was in Wyoming in the middle of nowhere,
Oh, my
and I called friends. They took me to the hospital and got it sewed up. But the doctor, the surgeon that did the surgery said, "You're lucky to be alive."
Dude, I mean, I'm just thinking about it. You're out in the middle of are you sitting there like this the whole time while your friends are you're putting pressure on it to not bleed? Oh my God, dude!
Well,
Wow.
and the good thing is it didn't hit the artery, so I wasn't bleeding from that. But there were enough blood vessels in my neck that
Yeah.
I was bleeding pretty profusely.
Oh yeah,
And the people I called were EMTs, so
yeah.
Um,
Thank God. Yeah. Yeah, the right person for the right job.
Right.
How long did it take him to
So-
get to you, though? 20 minutes?
Oh no, it was like 5 minutes. It's a small town that I lived in at the time, and when I called them, they were like, "Oh fuck, holy shit!" And the I feel bad about it because my dog protected me multiple times, apprehended multiple suspects, and when he did it, he felt bad. He knew what he did was wrong.
Oh, man.
And he went into his crate, and when I got home, he was still in his crate, shaking, and
Oh, man.
was like, fuck. But, I worked in construction like you did, and there's one other thing that one other aspect that I got to tell you about is I was working at a prison in Wyoming when I was in the same area, and we were doing metal roofing on this huge metal building. And in Wyoming, where I was, the wind blows,
Oh, yeah.
sometimes 30, 40 miles an hour. And we cut the straps off a couple of these lengths of metal roofing, and the wind picked up, and
Like dealing cards, baby.
yeah, and it hit my throat.
Holy-
And fortunately, I saw it coming and blocked it, but I had a slice on my throat on the opposite side of where the thing happened with my dog. But that could have been a whole nother fucking...
Dude,
I mean...
metal coming at you, like, that's decapitation.
Right. Well, even that, if it had hit my carotid, I would have bled out right there.
Oh my God! Yeah, dude, you're. I hope you buy lottery tickets regularly. Somebody's watching over you well.
Well, like I said, my cat lives have run out, and
you and me both, brother. Just keep. You know what? Just keep calling in with these stories. I love them.
And I don't know if you remember, but I live on the road now, so I've got to be very careful. I'm in Kingman, Arizona right now, living, out in the middle of nowhere with my trailer and my dog.
Yeah, man, I kept up on the build on that thing, man. You did a really, really nice job on that, man. Are you enjoying it?
Thank you. Oh, it's working out great.
Fantastic.
It really is.
Yeah, that's, I'd love to see it in person. We got to meet up on the road this summer when I'm out there running around.
Well, I was hoping that you could come up with Subpac Vet last summer, but I'm going to be in Wyoming this summer.
Oh, good.
Outside of Saratoga. I don't know if you're going to be in that area, but
I go through the whole state, so we'll find each other. I just wrote down your number, buddy. I'll punch you in my cell.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man.
Mountain Dog Boy, thank you for the call, man. It's a great one.
All right.
We'll
Have
see
a
you,
good
buddy.
night.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the show.
You betcha, man.
Take care.
Love having you here.
Well,
Wow.
all right.
That is, man, that's crazy. That is, decapitated by a piece of sheet metal. That's, like a guillotine. Welcome aboard the mystery ship. Who do we have on the line tonight?
It's Prairie Fire. How you doing, Joe?
Good, my man. How is it going, bud?
Hanging in there. Yeah. Strike some gutter balls, as you would say. I'll try to make this one quick. It was actually a case of avoiding a very bad day, not for me, but for a complete stranger and a kid. And it's a bicycle-based one. I was on a ride on my way home. A ride that Mrs. Fire and I used to always like to take. We'd ride out into this little secluded place in the country, and then ride back home. Just a chance to get out of town on the bike.
Yeah.
And this was about a year after she passed. but I ride that ride just as a memory kind of thing. And I was
Sure.
riding actually the bike that she bought me back in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of a tribute thing. You know, now it's a quote-unquote classic bike. And I do that ride just on that bike when I want to remember her, you know.
That's awesome.
And so I'm on my way home. I'm on the part in town now on a bike path, you know, an old rail corridor that's been turned into a bike path, crossing a fairly major street, car coming up on the right, bus coming up behind the car. And that's one of those cases where a lot of times the cars are pretty good, you know, there are good relations between cars and bikes in a town like this. And I figured he was probably going to stop for me. But I didn't want the bus to rear end him, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I figured I'll kind of wave him through. So, you know, the usual gesture is you do a right to left wave or left to right, whichever,
Yeah.
with your hand to just say, you know, go ahead. My hand would not come off the handlebar, dude.
It's like frozen or what?
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Like, the signal didn't go through,
Oh,
you know? And I didn't think much of it. It's like, okay, maybe I just... And the car ended up stopping in time. The bus stopped in plenty of time.
Oh.
And so at that moment, I just thought then I'll wave like a thank you wave. Rather than a go-ahead wave, it would be more like a thank you. That was no problem. I was able to raise my hand,
Oh,
give him a
that's-
thank you wave. Went on my way. And all that time, I'm looking toward the right, at that motor traffic, because that's where my mind is. As I proceed, I look straight ahead, and what's happening? Coming my way, you know, the other side of the path, the outbound side, is about a 12-year-old kid on a bike who just blasted right through the intersection
Oh, no.
without even looking.
Oh, no.
Which means if
Had-
that
had-
vehicle had not stopped,
Oh, my. Yeah, the kid would have been a sort
It
of...
would have been a
you,
bad day for
but
him.
you
And I
saved
just-
the kid's life by some complete...
But it wasn't me. It was because my hand wouldn't move. Dude.
Oh.
And then I realized, like, okay, thank you, Lord, thank you. And I just
Dude.
kind of basked in that moment of gratitude that, like, the Lord intervened at that moment.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
And I'm just, like, going on down the street, the path for about another 30 seconds or a minute, and then it hit me.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the Lord, but you know what the presence I felt? It was Mrs. Fire.
Oh, now that is
just-
awesome.
It's like she was there for a moment, and it wasn't like a voice. I didn't see her. It wasn't an apparition.
No, you just knew.
I just got this signal from her. It's like, dumbass, that was me.
Oh, my God. Dude, that is... I mean, it's actually a scary as hell, but it's a beautiful story, man. Wow.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
You saved a freaking kid from being...
No.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
She did. Mrs. Fire did.
Holy
Yeah.
goodness. Wow.
I know.
That's a great-
the gratitude that I have, and I just love telling the stories. It's one of those, as much as I miss her and everything, it's just one of those stories about her. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Prairie Fire, that's like the best story of the night, baby. That's a beauty. That is a beauty. Wow. Well done, son.
Well, and well done by her
Yeah.
and by the grace of God.
Yeah.
Right?
Amen.
God be the glory.
Amen. Well, dude, I really appreciate the call. That is a classic right there. Wow.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the call. I'm
You
glad
betcha.
I thought of this story and called in before I signed off.
Perfect, man.
All right, brother.
Always good to talk to you. That's our
God
friend.
bless, man. We'll talk again soon.
Sounds good, buddy. Sounds good.
Good night.
Our friend Prairie Fire right there, man. How about that? How about that? I mean, inadvertently, just through sheer random, for whatever reason, his move, if he hadn't made that move, that kid would have been a pancake. Wow. Wow. I'll bet he'll sleep good tonight reliving that. That would just, yeah. I'm telling the rush of adrenaline that overcomes someone when you have cheated death in just an unimaginable way. It's funny. I think about the other previous things that I described, and I will say that the time that I got, trapped underwater with by a rope that was on the side of my raft that just sucked me down and pressed me against this giant concrete, support of this bridge above the road. And everything I grabbed was mossy and slick, and there was no... That scared the living daylights out of me, but, you get your senses and you realize in seconds, Sella, if you don't do something right now, you're going to drown right here. And you just get like supercharged, and I'll never forget when I broke the surface and I'm hanging onto this slippery ass freaking wiggly branch, breathing air, going, okay, how am I going to get myself out of this mess? But that time that car rear-ended the car that was in front of me, if I had not moved, I'll never forget that. I think I was shaken for like 15 minutes. I mean, it really, really took a toll on me. It was enough to make me, whoa, wow. Well, I think we're gonna call it a night here. It's I started considerably later than I normally do, and although I always dreamed of being that midnight caller. You guys remember that old TV show? I think it was called Midnight Caller, wasn't it? A guy by the name of Gary Cole. He was a late night talk show host. Went from like midnight to 4 a.m. I would love to be that guy one day. I want to one day before my broadcast journey is done, I want to be the 3 a.m. to the 12 p.m. to 6 a.m. guy on some kind of overnight station where all the Draculas call in at night. That would be fun. All right. I do want to take a second to thank the wonderful people who decided to support this program this evening. May God bless each and every one of you. Let's look over here at Pilled Foxhole, where these lovely people have donated tonight, and I thank you kindly. I'm going to be releasing the scratch-in over there. Thank you so much to Safety Net and Girl Patriot and my dear brother Due Diligence. Due, you got to get another Ducati, man. you got to get another Ducati. I can see him on one right now. All right, the scratch-in is hereby released over there in Pilled Foxhole Land. Meanwhile, over here in Lemonland, old Zoe's going to put a little something in that treasure chest, build that up so we can give something away. We're going to build that up so we can give something away. There we go. This will remind me of my youth. Friday nights, I used to watch Karen Valentine in a show called Room 222. Ah, the good old days. Anyway, here come the lemons. Here comes the treasure chest. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. In 3, 2, 1. There are your lemon rewards. Come on now, spit it out. Spit it out. Come on, D-Live. Did they win or did they not win? What's weird is D-Live used to take 30 seconds to release the treasure chest, right? There it is. Willie Fix It on top tonight. Willie Fix It. Willie Fix It on top. With Bad Zoot right on his heels, Mad Pogue, and D Dowd. There they are. Congratulations, everyone in Lemon Land. Good for you. Good for you. I want to thank all of you for just chilling and hanging with your brothers though tonight. Mountain Dog Boy, great in talking to you. Enjoyed that. Hey, dude, I would definitely like to meet up with your brother. That would be freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. Thank you to Prairie Fire. Thank you to Willie Fix It. Thank you to Due Diligence. I'm telling you, once you've cheated death, it's not that you want to do it again, but man, is it a sigh of relief when you're out on the other side to say, whoa, holy guacamole. If things had happened a little differently, yeah, I wouldn't be here to tell about it. Anyway, I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to hanging out with you again this coming Friday. So all those wonderful people over there at YouTube, thanks for being here. Everyone over at Pilled Foxhole, freaking love ya. Over there in Rumble, thank you all for hanging out with me. Good to see you. John Otter, hope you're doing well. Those Twitchers, twitching that itch, thanks a million. And of course, to the champions, those champions over there in Lemonland, woo! Well done. Well done. Good to see you all. Thank you all for your support and your for just hanging out with me, for being my friends. I love y'all. I'm gonna do the boot scoot boogie right now. I'm scooting on down the road, baby. We will see you Friday night. Have a great rest of your week, people. Love you lots. Be safe out there. And by that, I mean, don't try and cheat death in any way. It's not worth the cheap thrills. It really isn't. Love y'all. Nighty-night.